now we're getting to the main event here. So, a new caster was released, guys. And for me, I was like, I thought about this. Like, man, they haven't released a caster in a year. Chen Gong was the last caster we've had. We're due for a caster. Oh boy, did they give us a caster. Let's jump into what I said on Twitter and saying the new Arts Queen that a lot of people got upset about. But I'm going to give you some extra context now that I actually speak and not limited to Twitter. Artoria Caster, limited 5-star caster servant, and your 5th anniversary limited servant. She has, quite frankly, she is Arts Merlin, and we're going to go in exactly why. First skill, Charisma Up, Hope B. Increases a party's attack for 3 turns and charges their party MP gauge. That sounds like dreamlike charisma, doesn't it? But let's dig into it. Attack 10% to 20%, and MP is 20% to 30%. 20% to 30%. That is literally the highest AoE like MP gauge gain ever. That tops it. Normally 20 was the top. 20 was like the highest we went. Now it's 30. And it's like, okay, pretty good. That's a good skill. 6-turn cooldown. Only 3 turns of downtime. Pretty good. Second skill. Protection of Vivian A, Lady of the Lake, anyone. Charges 1 ally's MP gauge and increases MP generation rate for 3 turns. Party MP generation rate. MP gauge is 10 to 20%, so boom, there is your 50% Noble Phantasm. And the MP gain rate is 20 to 30% AoE. That's good. 5-turn cooldown at max. Third skill, Caliburn, Sword of Selection EX. Increases one ally's arts performance for 3 turns. Increases their damage against threats to humanity, enemies for 3 turns, and grants them invincible for 1 turn. The arts performance is 30% to 50%. And I believe with this skill alone, the immediate reactions and comparisons to Tamamo came up. We'll get into that in a minute. But that's a lot to take in. That is a 6-turn cooldown. That is power creep if I could ever see. The fact that it's 30 to 50% arts performance plus all this other stuff. It's pretty good. Threat against humanity doesn't have that many applications, but it does come up from time to time. So far, we only have the alter ego class. So essentially, she just does extra damage against alter egos. Keep that in mind, especially considering who the enemies we're facing. But passives, Territory Creation EX, keep in mind, it arts performance 12%, and also just a minor thing, the critical damage on the arts cards is 10%. So something to keep in mind at being arts. So, Around Caliburn, which eventually turns into Round of Avalon. Increases party attacks for 3 turns. Removes party's debuffs. It's the 30% to 50% attack up depending on MP level. Overcharge. Grants party Solemn Defense buff for 3 turns. This is a new This is a new buff that nullifies pierce, invisibility, and damage. And the amount of times that they can get this, whatever hits that they can survive, depends on their overcharge. Alright, Starlight, see you later. It's only 1 hit, but it's 1 hit over 3 turns. Think about that. And that's AoE. And the overcharge dictates how many hits they take. You have to look at that. Because now you can put something like, I don't know, Demonic Bolt and Salva to up that up. Now what? That's something. Kika, you and I gonna come to blows, because this is the second time you've gotten on a caster support that wasn't waiver, and we have come to blows. But it's the simple fact that there exists now true hard defense that cannot be pierced, that is AoE. That can't be understated. It really can't. It's not meant to be Did you want this to be 3 turns? You can't be info, pierce, or damage? That's busted. You can do that. Overcharge 3 hits over 3 turns. That's pretty good. I really think people are underselling that and overselling healing, which let's get into that good old discussion. Tamamo versus Caster Artoria, for the sake of this arguments. And I know there will be a whole bunch of people coming in here, so I'm gonna preface this argument. I'm going to preface this. Obviously, Caster Artoria and Tamamo work very well together. Tamamo has a very specific strategy, and Caster Artoria actually helps her with that strategy. Funny enough, helps her more than Waver in certain cases. So I understand that. Who I am talking to currently when I am having this conversation are the people that I've had to deal with for 5 years, and some people for 2, saying that Tamamo was the best caster mechanic-wise, the only rival to Waver. This is the person that said, oh, Tamamo's better than Scotty. Tamamo's better than any other caster aside from Waver. I've had to deal with these type of people for a very long time. So when people came at me, was like, yo, you know, Tamamo this, Tamamo that, Tamamo this, Tamamo that, when I was saying my big claims, it comes from that type of place. Obviously, if you know what you're doing, if you know the type of role that Tamamo fits, then you're good, right? You're good. Because Tamamo is not the end all be all. Tamamo has weaknesses, and we're going to go over exactly what Tamamo can really do. What she should be. What she should be recognized as from everyone, not just a few people. Thank you to the arts memers in Toho for realizing what Tamamo is really all about. Tamamo's main thing, we know her as being the art staller queen. She is there for your art stalls, to loop her noble phantasm, to lower those skill cooldowns, because to date, there are only a couple of people who have the ability to lower your party's skill cooldown. Party! Not skill, so actually the only one. Maid Altar has it to where it's a single target, and there's a couple other demerits, but so far those are the only 2 people that deal with any sort of party cooldown at all. The bonus to that is that she also has healing as well. So 3,000 HP may not seem like a lot to some people, but there's that, but it's also the MP charge as well. So when you add this all together, party skill cooldown plus HP plus recharging your noble phantasm gauge, and if you're doing this in an arts team specifically built around this, then you're always going to end, when you're in a noble phantasm chain, Tamamo's is always going to be at the end, so you can get the most MP back, which is 37.5%. If you luck out and you can get all the way up to 500%, you're getting half of your MP back. This is where the snowball comes in. It's a snowball effect. You keep looping your noble phantasm, you're going to keep getting noble phantasm, you're going to keep building this engine to where your skills are coming faster. You're getting your fire arc, your noble phantasm more and more and more. It is insane in Ninja. By herself, she has obvious weaknesses. Her main weakness that needs to be overcome, which is why she works better in a team, is noble phantasm game. Her noble phantasm game is atrocious. 0.32%. Really, really, really low for a caster. So she needs the help. This is why pairing her with Waver solved a lot of her noble phantasm problems, because she just she is not getting her noble phantasm off, even with 3 arts cards, 5 hits on those arts cards, and an arts noble phantasm. So there's that is a bit of a problem. But there's more. What adds more to her being for stalling the first skill, Witchcraft. We all know this by now. It drains the noble phantasm of your enemy. 80% to 100%. But keep in mind, just because it says 100%, this is still considered a debuff. So debuff resist still can come into effect. This will never be always 100% all the time. Keep that in mind. Not that it matters, because most people are going to be using it for this second buff that's coming. Increasing MP damage, except for herself, for 3 turns. This is her 20 to 30% MP damage to the team. I want my people to hit harder. For me, I thought it would be something like, hey, AoE, everyone gets Noble Phantasm. But it turned into the damage, which helps Vlad, helps Artoria Archer, helps all those arch servants that don't really have the power to nail in their opponents. Second skill, Shapeshift. To me, this is the worst skill. It's a very selfish skill. It focuses on keeping her alive, and that's really it. So, I mean, essentially, it just helps her stay alive. That's it. My opinion, if she were ever to receive a strengthening, if this would just be AoE, sick. Sick. If that would just be AoE Shapeshift, let's go. Let's go. I'd be fine with that. That's honestly what I would say, because now she, even though she's like in a specific niche, she has other uses that would be able to help in a pinch if she has to be forced into a position that she's not in this very specific team. It wides up the type of teams you can use her for. But that's just a hope. That's just fantasy booking. Third skill, Fox Wedding. This is the OG. You all know this by now, but I'm going to say it again because it's really good. 30 to 50%, and you recover 2,500 HP on a 5-turn cooldown. Pretty good. Other weak area, increases own arch performance by 6%. Keep that in mind from what I said. And yeah, so this is your base Tamamo, right? There have been people that have came up to me and said, Tamamo is the arts queen. Why do I have trouble with this? Because when we say that someone is a queen or king or something, that means that without them, the card set does not exist. It is not there. Merlin, the Buster Caster King. Scotty, the Queen of Quick. Like these, they put the cards on the map. And while Tamamo did something really busted, she exposed that certain strategies built around her for arts memeing can now be a thing. To me, like, this is a personal opinion and I could be wrong. It's okay. I expect this type of conversation. I don't think she was ever the arts queen. Was she good? Yes. Was she great for arts memeing? Yes. But when I see arts queen, I think someone that can help in almost every situation, no matter what type of arts team you're building. Not just stall, not just looping, just whatever you need it for. So I never really saw her as an arts queen. I thought that title was vacant, but people were very quick because Tamamo is very wifeable, right? Look at her. She's cute as fuck. She has a very sad backstory that makes you want to take care of her, makes you want to make sure, hey, no, all your efforts are not in vain. She's great waifu. Don't get me wrong. But to clarify, that's your new arts queen. That's your new person that's going to be the face of arts, at least for a while. Because of what she does, because of what she provides. Like, plain out. If you had to compare Artoria Caster to Tamamo versing each other, if you had to look at them bit for bit, tat for tat, what are the differences? What differences are there? The biggest difference you're looking at Caster Artoria. Her MP charge rate in Star Absorption is higher. Star Absorption is only by 1, but the MP charge on attack is up by 22%. 22% more. So she's going to be able to get her Noble Phantasm off way more. Small niche, by the way. Note that she doesn't have weak to Anima Unleash. She's a star attribute, but not all star attributes have that, but she's not weak to Anima Unleash. Minor note there. Yeah, so that trait does not affect her. Already going to AoE damage, so we have party attack, obviously, that works additively with her Noble Phantasm. So base, if you just do max level here, MP1 there, that's 50% attack up overall. Pretty dang good. 20 to 30%, she is getting the Noble Phantasm to you a lot quicker. And also able to increase your Noble Phantasm generation, the whole party, for 3 turns. That includes herself. So keep that in mind. It doesn't say except for herself, it includes herself. Also, the 20% battery is flexible now. So pretty good. We've already put her in there. Okay, this is the person that's going to be able to get your Noble Phantasm from 0 to 100 if you have 2 of them. Cool. Already people are saying, well, that's arch looping. Perfect, right? Perfect, right? What solves that even further is the fact that the arch performance for 3 turns is 30 to 50%, just like Tamamo's, and also adds in, instead of the healing, just straight invul. Granted, it's 1 turn, but it's just straight invul. This is just what I value. I value invincible over healing, unless you can just keep healing consistently. Because if you stop, if the healing doesn't keep coming, you will die. But if you're at 1 HP and you have invul, you're not dead. You're still in the game. You're still there. It's kind of a magic mentality for me. Indestructible is going to do better than healing unless you can heal very fast and very consistently. And as I mentioned before, arch performance. She has 6% more arch performance base than Tamamo. So 1-to-1, like going stat-wise on paper, Artoria Caster is just a better caster. But what I've at least found in my very little testing, and what other people have quickly told me, and we've confirmed, Artoria Caster definitely needs to have people there to support. If she does not have people there to support, if the game goes long, if we go into like turn 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, so on and so forth, you're going to start seeing some drop off. You're going to start seeing some things. She needs the battles to end really quick. Like, all right, I'm going to buff you up. Please kill them. Kill them, please. Kill them, please. Whereas Tamamo, sitting there for the long haul. She's going to be there to the end. You get her snowball rolling, you won't die. There's a reason why her specialty is arch stall. So, the community, I guess I'm reluctantly agreeing that Caster Artoria's main deal is going to be farming. And if you want things to go long, challenge quests, bring Tamamo. But, as I said at the beginning, these two work very good together. Perfectly. They cover each other's weaknesses really good. Like, yeah, she needs things to go long. Well, Tamamo here will actually help you get there with the healing, with the skill cooldown, which is going to affect her. She helps you get your Noble Phantasms faster. So, again, she replaces Waver in those arch meme strategies. They synergize very perfectly. So you're going to get a whole bunch of stuff where you're finding like, hey, double Caster Artoria Tamamo or Caster Artoria Tamamo, and you're going to be in a good spot. You're going to be in a very good spot with those two together. I will still say that Caster Artoria takes the Arch Queen spot though. She's still the top, and that's only because she enables other servants to be able to do things that they were not able to do. Vlad is skyrocketed to the freaking stratosphere for how good he is. Berserker Musashi now can loop. She can 3-turn arch loop. Finally. It's like, at that point, her 5,000 HP demerit doesn't mean jack crap. It doesn't mean nothing. Because now she's good for that. She's good for farming. She is the new farming meme. And you know what FGO is? 90% farming. A point that Toho brought up that I didn't think about, but when I thought about it, makes perfect sense. Caster Artoria isn't necessarily putting Tamamo out of a job, even though she is taking the Arch Queen position. Tamamo's position in her niche arch stall is still safe. She will always have teams for her. And if you have one, you're good. You can still do what you need to do. But double Scotty teams are gonna take a hit. Because once Caster Artoria comes around, I do not think we're going to be seeing Scotties on the support list anymore. Does not take away from the fact of what Scotty does and what she enables, but you're probably going to be really hard pressed to find a Scotty on support now. You're probably only going to be seeing Caster Artoria, and that's it. So you'll be like, oh no. And to clarify, Quick is not dead. It is not dead, but we're in a meta shift now. They had Buster had his time to shine. Quick had his time to shine. Now Arts is back to have their time to shine again after 4 years. Because they were shining in the beginning, but they're shining again. So this will change as time, and I think that change is good. That change is healthy. That is a healthy change to keep changing stuff like that. So now Scotty can take a break. Caster Artoria can just slip on in there, and we'll have her until they decide to either probably buff Buster. That'll probably be the next thing they buff. Even though Superhuman Orion exists, and okay, we're good. We're fine. We talked about that before. We talked about it. Okay. That's my tech talk. Hope you guys liked it.